came to me when I needed one. Wasn't for her, I don't know what I'd have done. She gave me back something that was missing in me. She could have turned out to be almost anyone. Almost anyone, with the possible exception of who I wanted her to be.
When I first heard Jackson Browne perform this song, I thought he was singing about my daughter. At about age 14, Dawn ran away from home. Not mine, but her mother and stepfather's house. And my ex-wife called me and said, "Dawn's run away, can you help find her?" It took 3 days, but I finally tracked her down to a party house in Manhattan Beach. I knocked on the door and asked the young girl who answered if Dawn was there. And she quickly disappeared inside, and soon my daughter came running towards the open door, saw me, slowed to a walk, and said with a surprised look, "Oh, hi, Dad." I smiled and said, "Get your things, you're coming with me." And she said, "I'm not going back to that house."
Wasn't much good at sticking around, but that girl could sing.
And I simply replied, "I know, sweetie, you're coming to live with me." My new lady Lisa, our 4-year-old son, and I welcomed Dawn into our home. We arranged space for her to have her own room and enrolled her in school. I was a carpenter by trade then, and a songwriter-musician by hobby. My daughter seemed to have inherited my musical talents. She would sing along with the radio, and man, I swear, she could belt out those tunes with the best of them. And sometimes we'd play music and sing together for fun, a cool bonding experience. You see, we didn't get much of the usual father-daughter bonding experiences when she was a little girl. She was already 3 months old when I first saw her. I was in the Army in Panama when she was born and couldn't come home for her birth. Her mother and I were both teen parents and didn't really understand how difficult parenting and marriage could be. So we struggled a lot. And within a few years, we went our own separate ways. I became the stereotypical weekend dad, bringing Dawn toys, taking her places, and even giving her rides on my Harley. Cheap thrills from a biker's point of view. I think she was about 7 when she went to live with her grandparents. The Harley ride stopped, and slowly my visits did too, as I struggled with self-destructive behaviors and substance abuse. I saw little of her until she came to live with us. During her stay, my rules and expectations must have been a bit too demanding, as she ran away from our house too. It was shortly after we'd gone to a Jackson Browne concert, Dawn's first. Dawn became a teen mother and experienced her own struggles with men who were generally not there, at least until Ray entered her life. As an elder watching Ray as a young father, I am extremely impressed with his family values, his dedication and caring support. Both granddaughters, Kelly and Heather, adore him, and the latest addition to the family, Brandon, has an awesome role model for a dad. And as for Dawn, well, I couldn't be any prouder of her. I have since taken ownership of my slacking years as a father and shared my reclaimed guilt. That's a part of my recovery, not asking for forgiveness nor making excuses, but clearly owning my past poor choices and ignorance while making demands. Lovingly, Dawn reassures me that she holds no blame and that the time she spent with her grandparents were some of the most happy days and most happy years, filled with much love, nurturing, and affection. Even though Dawn and I don't get to sing nowadays, our connection is still wonderful and growing with each visit.